Welcome to the LWN Live with Nature Foundation. This is Health and Wellness Wednesday. We want to thank you for taking time to come and join us this evening. We have a great show planned for you tonight, and I'm very excited. We got special guests. We've got Aaron and Veronica Garcia. We're going to bring them in a few moments. And we have Dr. Jenny here with us, and we are talking about health and mindset this evening. And mindset is so key to our health, and our health is related to our mindset. And so we're going to be talking about this. I'm just really glad that you're here. There's a lot going on today in the news with health. Certainly, COVID-19 is a big deal. There's a lot of talk about it. As a matter of fact, apparently I made a mistake on one of my posts, and I used the word health and wellness, and I also said about mindset is good medicine. Apparently, medicine was the trick word there. Got me stopped, and Facebook pulled down multiple of posts that I had done earlier, and so they clearly censored it because I don't know. I guess if you say the wrong thing, you're going to get censored. But you know what? The beauty here is this is broadcasting on Roku, on Fire, on Amazon, and Apple, and Android TV. And we're streaming to YouTube as well. We're streaming to Facebook. We're streaming to Twitter. We're streaming all over the place. Now, if you've got a smart TV, you can download the E360 app for your smart TV and watch us on any one of those platforms. You can go to the website. You can watch us there. We've got a great show for you. I'd like to bring in Dr. Jenny right now. Dr. Jenny. Welcome, Dr. Jenny. How are you?
Always busy, and I'm sorry to hear about you being censored. That's the story of my life.
I tell you, well, we talked about this. It's going to be an issue, certainly on some platforms. I mean, I watched this video yesterday. As a matter of fact, my brother forwarded it to me. There's a lot of press about it right now. Dr. Stella Emanuel and the frontline doctors. And boy, they just got torn up today. They sure did, you know. And the thing is, we're going to talk about some of that. I'd like to. As well, just to maybe help our viewers get some clarification of, you know, what really maybe is the truth. Or I want to talk about, you know, I guess they're talking about what? I have a hard time with this. Hydrochloroquine.
Yep.
And so I want to talk a little bit about that as well. But it was interesting to see. Now, I shared it a bunch of times. And they only stopped about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 of them. So, whatever, that's fine. Go ahead, censor me. I'm not going to get censored. I'm going to talk, and I'm going to share the things that I want, because this is the deal for me. Your health and wellness, viewers, I'm talking to you, is important to us. That's why we do this show. We want to educate you about health and wellness from a natural aspect. Now, Dr. Jenny, she was voted top naturopath of 2019 by the International Association of Top Professionals, okay? She knows what she's talking about. I'm learning every time that we do one of these broadcasts. I want to remind you to share this video out. Tell your friends, share it into the groups. And if you got the smart TV, download that E360. You can watch it at your convenience. You can watch it on our website as well. We just love you. We appreciate everybody who's taking time to come and join us this evening. So, Dr. Jenny, I got a quick question for you here, and we're going to get right to our guest in just 1 second. I do have Aaron and Veronica in the virtual green room. And so, are you aware of any clinical case studies that would justify a lack of ability for this hydrochloroquine? What is it now? Hydrochloroquine, right? Okay. Tell us about that. And what about the availability? What do you know about that?
There's many studies out there. You have studies that have been done in Russia, studies that have been done in China, and I mean, this is antimalarial drug, different type of viruses. People have been using this for a really long time. I mean, I fill prescriptions on it with, you know, passport health facilities where doctors are doing health analysis before someone travels to a foreign country, and that's one of the things that they will stop and take with them. So if they do get sick and they get a viral infection or a parasite, or, you know,
right,
it helps, but it helps.
So
patients better to survive. But most importantly, what it's doing is it's helping the zinc go straight into the immune cells that are being attacked by this COVID-19. That we all know those genetically modified viruses by, the forces that be, people like Bill Gates. I'll be very unapologetic about that because it's the truth. We're playing with fire here. We're playing, in my opinion, we're acting like we're God. We're taking viruses out of animals and studying them and isolating them and then trying to figure out how to open up those, because it wasn't able to be cross-contaminant. Dogs, cats have SARS. They have COVID naturally, right? But you don't spread disease from animal to human. We have a completely different genetic makeup. So the danger is when we're going and isolating those viruses and then opening up the cells to where it attacks our cells. And there we go,
Is there actually a shortage, like they've said, to get this medicine because it's like readily available in many places in the world, but apparently not available here anymore?
Oh, I have some in my. I'll run into my lab right now and show you a bottle.
Well, there you go. Okay, so maybe it is available. The bottom line is that we want to get down to letting you know that we've got solutions tonight. We are talking health and mindset. I'd like now to bring in our special guests, Aaron and Veronica Garcia, and let them, and we'll just together here, we're going to kind of have a little bit of a town hall type of ordeal. And so if you have a question or you have a comment, we would love to hear from you. Just put it in the comments. We will get around to your viewer questions or comments in just a moment. I got to say welcome, Aaron and Veronica. How are you doing this evening?
We're doing well. How are you?
I am very good. I'm very good. I'm so pleased that you're with us this evening. It's about awakening your spirit. You're going to hopefully help us this evening to awaken our spirit from a mental and from a health standpoint. I know that I watch your broadcasts all the time. They're on, by the way, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific. And so when noon comes around on Monday and Wednesdays, I'm always trying to catch your show, but I don't always do it. But there's a lot of great information. So what I'd like you to do is tell us about how you are involved in the healthcare industry here from a standpoint of positive transformational change, because that's what your platform is leaders in transformational change. Tell us about this.
Well, as my background is, I was a practicing chiropractor for a few years and did most of my training in the health and wellness field. And just in my training, I got introduced to a lot of holistic alternative healing modalities from Eastern philosophies to emotional healing. And one of the biggest things that I found working with patients was a lot of the illnesses that they were coming for, whether it's physical pain, chronic disease. A big portion of it was a lot of the stress that they were going through on a day-to-day basis in their life, whether it's in their relationships, whether it's in their business, their finances. And I started to understand how important the mind was when it comes to our health and our healing. And over time, that's when Veronica and I met. I was fortunate to understand that she is a very empathic person and can actually feel what people hold on to. And we just eventually combined our talents together, and we took it more from just physical healing. Now it's more into the mental health healing and really helping people to make transformation in their life.
And I was trained as a Reiki master, so I work with energy. And during that time, I learned that I can feel people's emotions, but also their physical pain. So when we met and we started working together, it was easier to pinpoint the main things that were going on in the person's body. And working with the mind, we know that almost everything starts in the mind.
We do. This is where you come in, Dr. Jenny, is that, we talk a lot about gut health and how that has an impact on our mindset. Maybe you can talk to us about what our viewers are going to really need to do to get themselves healthy so that they can take the advice of people as well, of Aaron and Veronica and apply these things, because you can get them healthy, and then Aaron and Veronica can help them process some of their issues that they're dealing with.
You are so right. Nice to meet you both. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having us.
You are 100% right. It all starts. Everything is a mental health emergency. Erectile dysfunction is a mental health issue. Insomnia, migraine, headaches, MS, Parkinson's, pain. I mean, it's not the pain doesn't start where you physically feel it. It starts with the brain that's telling you that you're physically feeling an ailment. So, and we live in the most aggressive, I think people in general in the United States, our adrenal glands are constantly in the state of like there's a tiger or a lion chasing us, because it's go, stress, negative neurofeedback. And there's no positive neurofeedback in society. People don't have a moment and stop and smell the roses and relax, to meditate, to pray. And I think a lot of the lack of spirituality in this country is from people being poisoned by our toxic society, from our waters being polluted, from the GMOs in our foods, to the toxic psychiatric medications that people are taking, like the Adderall, the Ritalin, the Vyvanse, the Zyprexa, the Valium, the Xanax. I can go on and on and on. It's an $800 billion industry, and what that does is it's damaging our prefrontal cortex, our third eye, the pineal gland, number one, being calcified. And then people don't have the ability to meditate, to pray. They have no sense of the divine, no sense of the life force. And I know people, that's one of the first questions I actually ask some of my patients, are you dreaming? And they tell me, no, I'm not dreaming. I'm like, how are you not dreaming? So it doesn't that should be an eye opener. If someone's not dreaming, they're not REMing, they're not regenerating. The body needs to dream to process everything that's happening in the world. If there's something that is suppressing that, I balance out all of those, biochemical markers neurologically, the neurotransmitters, the organic acids, the amino acids, the vitamins, minerals, the enzymes, the probiotics. That's the intestinal health, like the L-glutamine, parasitic, fungal, dysbiosis. The analysis that I do, and all of my other colleagues that practice functional regenerative medicine, we do the same thing. It's our goal is to get people to dream, and then when they're dreaming, they're able to have a better sense of themselves, and have a better connection to source. They're able to pray, but they can't meditate if they're in pain, if they're angry, if they're constantly, if they're having issues. Just think of the inflammation. Everything is an inflammatory issue. Inflammation of the brain is what I call it. It's like the land of the walking dead. Look at people. Look at them in the eyes. And they look like zombies. They're not there. And I'm like, hello, the fly. Like,
I've seen it.
Right,
Yeah, I get it. I dealt with all of that, and I got a chance to work in a holistic wellness hospital when I first got out of school, and I was fortunate enough to work with many different health care practitioners, all working together that were trained in functional medicine, from the medical doctors to dentists to psychiatrists to I was a chiropractic in the field, nutritionist. And we just got an opportunity to see the big picture for each person. So imagine you're going to a clinic, and you're seeing all these different practitioners, and they're all talking to each other about what's going on with you. And what was great for me was to see how everything fit together. And when you take a big history, just by them telling you what their life has been like is a big indicator of what area we really need to work on. And sometimes it's not what we might think it is. It could be stress. I've seen where it could be like a dental issue that's creating all these issues, but it's getting to know each and every individual. But yeah, when we're being blocked by chemical insensitivities, medications, it throws us all off. And I just always wanted to know why.
Yeah, and well, there you go. There's a root cause. It's the body's like a car. And if you don't maintenance your car, it's going to start to fall apart. People are falling apart. You go to Whole Foods. I was just talking to a colleague of mine. He's a spinal surgeon, and he just decided to convert part of his practice into functional medicine. He absolutely loves what I'm doing here at A Title. It's a pharmacy research and wellness facility where people can actually come and have, hope. They're not constantly being, told by Doctors Gloom and Doctors Doom, because that's the kind of doctors that we're training in medical school. They're just prescription writers. Here's your pink pill, your purple pill, your black pill, your death pill. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't need this. I'm not Xanax deficient. I'm not Adderall deficient. I'm not oxycodone deficient or Viagra deficient. Doc, spend some time with me and find out the root cause of why my mechanics is failing me. From where they're living, what type of water they're drinking, their childhood. I mean, a lot of the women that I even talk to, you kind of become almost like a psychologist in this field too. If you were a chiropractor, when you to listen to them and realize they've had, rapes in their life, someone abused them, or children that were abandoned, or, something that was stuck there, and they have this information that was never addressed through counseling and through positive neurofeedback, again, to rewire and exercise the regions of the brain. That's what the Brainwave Center is all about, Mr. Stephen.
Yeah,
So,
it's really awesome, and I'm looking for. Have you heard about, Aaron and Veronica, about what is the term for this, Dr. Jenny? This Brainwave Center that's a type of therapy.
Yeah, we're using EEG and EKG brain mapping, where we put head helmets on people's heads, and it maps the matter. So you have the gray matter, like the TV show Grey's Matter, right? You have green matter, red matter, yellow matter, and when you're seeing those regions of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the medulla oblongata, all of these different regions that control emotion, that control mood, motor skills. And there are some regions where it's all red, or the whole entire, it's like, why isn't this part of the brain lighting up? Why is this all red? Red meaning very aggressive, someone with massive PTSD, suicidal typically, and I haven't seen anybody in these centers that have green mapping where they're calm and cool and peaceful. I mean, even myself, I went through a divorce. I had to support my stressors that I was going through my supplementations to make sure that, I wasn't compromised to become one of these, the great American, statistics of psychiatric care, right? So constantly supporting your neurological functions by taking high-dose vitamin D, taking progesterone, L-theanine, magnesium, amino acids, peptides. That doesn't mean everybody's taking that. I'm testing. I'm doing laboratory work. So through urine, through blood plasma, through saliva, and then I'm seeing exactly what I'm deficient in. And I'm going through my neurotransmitters, and I'm like, oh, well, there we go. This stress affected this part of my brain like this. So now I'm going to give my body the tools to be able to pull from that, so I don't have side effects of insomnia, irritability, emotional swings, mania, schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, because you introduce, you start depleting neurologically, and then you have, it's like what Psychology Today's statistics was one out of every 50 people you see on the road driving has a neuropsychiatric disorder. That's schizophrenia and bipolar. So think of the top angriest cities. They did an article about this, the top angriest cities in the United States.
I'm just thinking of some people that I know that when I ride with them in the car, I'm going, yeah, maybe,
They might
it's like,
I know those
they can't hear you, they don't care, right?
The empath, right? I'm an empath too. I feel for them. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to talk to you. Can I hug you? Smile through? Can we talk? Why?
Well, now what I want to ask Aaron and Veronica, I got several questions for you, because let's just start with how would you help somebody? Particularly, so many people right now are suffering with anxiety, depression, mania, maybe suicide, all these different things that are going on. Tremendous loss in some cases. Now tell us about your approach. How would you deal with that?
Well, we have a process that we do together, and it can be done virtually, and it's really asking the subconscious mind some questions and to see how they respond to it. So we actually had somebody that was pretty much on the point of suicide. They were just like, didn't know what to do. They contacted us, And we took him through the process, and the issue was something with family, that because the person was gay, and the father had said, you can be anything you want, but just don't be gay. And so the dad had a really strong opinion about gay people. So we took him through the process that we do together, and it went, it usually goes back to childhood, like Dr. Jenny mentioned, childhood issues. And I think it was after the third session that we did, he just started feeling better. And just the last time we worked on him, he said that was the best and happiest he's ever been. So it got rid of that emotional charge that gets lodged into the nervous system. And he was just like brand new. And I was just excited.
That's so awesome. This is wonderful.
He was from the point of suicide to just being the happiest ever.
And there's you guys mentioned PTSD earlier, and every single one of us has gone through some type of an experience in our life. Now, it's like at least I look at it as a spectrum, where PTSD would be like on the high end of the spectrum, but sometimes a lot of incidents in our life are some form of a PTSD. We have a breakup when we're younger, and like, how does it make us feel? Are we heartbroken? And it starts to affect us in our relationship. It's just different degrees, where like on the higher end would be like PTSD, phobias, where it's just, we have these experiences and we perceive them in a certain way, and then we have an emotion that gets tied with that. And then we have this neurological imprint that now is, we call it stuck within your nervous system, and will lodge within your subconscious mind, only to when that time period lapses and time goes on, it's like everything's okay. And then now something starts to re-trigger that past experience, because your subconscious mind remembers everything and it associates. And so we're using relationships as the example, and that person may go to be in another relationship and finds that, hey, I'm in the same exact scenario over and over again, repeated patterns we look at. And because of this one incident, they created a belief system. There was an emotion that was attached to that. And now it's in there, and it's dictating their behavior, which is now showing up as what actions they take in their life and the results that they're getting. And I find that when people hold on to so much stuff, and we hold on to as more than you probably think we do, we hold on to a lot, and how that actually manifests in our body. Just one little thought sets up a whole cascade of chemical reactions within the body, from adrenal issues, as Dr. Jenny was mentioning earlier. Hormones can get thrown off, your sleep-wake cycles, everything. You can actually create physical pain. How many people did I see in a clinical practice that had physical pain and they didn't do anything? They didn't fall. There wasn't a sports traumatic injuries. Like, what happened? They woke up. I've experienced that. I had years ago, like, tremendous lower back pain. And to come to find out that, I realized that lower back pain represents financial instability, or it's our foundation. When people are dealing with a lot of financial stress in their life and their mind, they tend to usually have a lot of low back issues, because that's low back is our support, our financial support. And the body will tell you what might be going on. Usually when we ask them the question, has this been going on in your life? More than likely they say, yeah, this has been going on. And I can now find out what caused all this to happen. And we have to sometimes go back to a thought process. And as we said earlier, everything starts in a thought. And if we can change the way we think, if we can let go and release what we hold on to emotionally, the whole body will just go back to rest and relax, that parasympathetic state, when most people are in sympathetic mode today. And we just found that's a huge component of the healing process. And then we can do our nutrition, then we can do our exercises and everything else on top of that. It doesn't make them not important. It just, what's the cause? And now we have to integrate them all together.
Right.
Yep. And you're right, talking about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. That's the tiger that I keep talking about, the rest and digest, or the fight or flight, right? And then all those triggers, eventually you get to the point, if you don't address, those emotions and sit down and talk and communicate, you get the eye twitch. And I mean, I've had customers walk in here where, they're crying. They come in, they're so spastic. And I'm like, okay, we're going to calm down here for a second. Let's get you some CBD. and I get my famous CBD that calms and gets those synaptic nerve endings charging again, where it gives them the reins to control these crazy emotions. And then I have the husbands come in and go, what did you do to my wife? You just saved our marriage. Thank you so much, right? And then having them being calm, or the rapid dissolving tablet. I actually Stephen, this is a fun story. I did the Heimlich maneuver at a restaurant here in Selvas. So the owners and managers love it when they come in there. But this 22-year-old was choking on her fish. She was eating fish and she was choking, but she was panicking so much. Her boyfriend could sit her down, but everyone was so quiet. No one knew what to do. I went over to her. I said, I'm going to calm you down right now. I'm going to stick something in your mouth. It's going to calm you down. Nod your head yes, that it's okay. You know, I'm nodding your head. I'm putting that CBD. 5 seconds later, she's able to calm down so I can help her to release what was lodged into her throat. But see, there was that fight or flight mechanism.
Right.
How can we help you? You're throwing, you're punching, you're doing this. Her boyfriend's scared. He's leaving out. He's screaming. I'm like, deep breath. Everybody take some cannabis. Whew. Okay.
So yeah, a bit of an anxiety and panic situation taking place for sure.
But those are mechanisms, like Veronica was talking. These are triggers that are learned over time. The body being, exercised incorrectly. The brain is a muscle, just like your bicep. Right. You have to exercise a muscle. And what do you feel? If you're doing X amount of this every single day, how are you counter-modulating that? Right? If you're 8 hours, 10 hours on your feet behind a desk, talking to patients with negative, Veronica, probably, if you're talking to people, how do you put positive neurofeedback in your life? Because you're taking in people's stressors, right? And that's a negative impact on your brain. Psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health care coaches, she has to go and now exercise her brain to release that negative energy that she did, because she's a beautiful soul. I could see, right here, I don't even have to meet her. I can just tell, but then she's got to make sure she's exercising that region, right? Through meditation, through prayer, through breathing is so important. People don't breathe correctly. It's amazing. They breathe just through their mouth, or they're breathing through their nose, right?
This is, I think, where healthy routines come in. Doing healthy routines on a consistent basis is really critical. And that's the hardest part, is for us to just get consistent about doing these healthy things. Now, what's going through my brain, to be honest, is I think that we are a superpower team. This is an exceptional broadcast tonight. We have experts in 2 different fields here. We have Dr. Jenny from the homeopathic aspect. We have Aaron and Veronica from the energy healing aspect. It's all about natural healing in medicine and energy and thinking, and that's what we are talking about. I want to remind everybody, share this video out. Share this video out with your friends. Make sure you send it to the groups, okay? Hit that love button if you're watching on Facebook. Come back and watch us if you're watching on the E360 platform. I'll tell you what, this is dynamic, and I'm thinking this word, and honestly, it came from Aaron and Veronica, one of their recent broadcasts a few weeks back. Superpowers. We all have superpowers. So I'll start with your superpowers, Aaron and Veronica. Tell us what your superpowers are, and then we're going to ask Dr. Jenny, what's her superpower? And I'll answer it too. Well, I know you're physically fit there, Dr. Jenny. I know that. That is a superpower for sure. Aaron and Veronica, tell us, what do you feel that your superpower is? And if you want to talk individually, I think that's important too, because I think together your superpowers is like unbelievable power, right?
I believe that mine, as we talk about feeling, is being able to really identify what somebody might be going through. Almost like I feel it's an intuitive nature where they got something going on, and I can almost identify what that is. And just a couple questions and understanding them, it's like I can identify where their biggest issue is. And I'm always looking for cause. There's a universal law that's cause and effect. Some people also know it as the law of karma, where every cause has an effect, and every effect creates a cause, and it just keeps going and going. So whenever we're dealing with anything, we're talking about health, there's a health issue, something caused that. And just by asking the right questions and listening, I've been able to at least intuit what might be the major issue. That's why we started going into the mindset work and the transformational field, because I felt that was really important, and that can make a huge difference in so many different lives.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, going into that field, when I first started working on myself, on the emotions, my adrenals were shot, just like Dr. Jenny mentioned about the adrenals. So I had to take supplements to help with that. But so my superpower, and we talked about it earlier, was being able to truly feel what people hold on to, their stuck emotions and the pain in their body. Sometimes the pain in the body is a reflection of the emotions that they're carrying. And actually, just the other day, I was doing energy work on someone, and then my ear started hurting. And I said, "Is there anything going on with your ear?" And she said, "Yeah, actually, I went swimming the other day, and it's clogged with water." So that was something I was able to tune into. So that's some of my superpowers. And another superpower is I do custom cakes, like those 3D cakes you see on Cake Boss. So I have that creative side where I can express through those cake art.
It was interesting is that going before the cakes was that's how Veronica and I started working with each other. We were in my clinical practice, and she would sit there as I was working on patients. She was either taking notes or hanging out, and she would start to feel something, and she's like, I don't know what this is. Like go check them on their jaw or something's there. And I would go explore it, and there it was. And I realized, wow, I can just use Veronica to tell me what the issue is. That way I'm not going all around, all my tools that I have.
It just saved time instead of trying to figure all these things out, just go straight to the issue.
And then when I was doing some of the emotion work that I was training to do for people, I would start to see that Veronica would actually pick up on that in them almost instantly before they started to feel it. She would start either emoting or crying, and it was like letting me know that we're getting closer to the main issue. We're about to unlock something within this person because she can feel it. And next thing you know, like a couple seconds later, they're just emoting all over the table because we found this. So that's why we combined our work, because we found it so much more powerful that way.
Yeah, because it's like a vibration that, we all emit a vibration. So when we're asking questions, it's almost like I could feel their vibration before their brain registers what's about to happen or what emotion's about to come out. It's pretty interesting.
That's very cool. I'm impressed, and I know that I've had the opportunity to have some sessions with Aaron and Veronica. They brought up things that I just didn't even, I wasn't getting it, but she could tell. and so, yeah, and it's great, and it's good. It was very good for me, and that's why I've got them on here, because I really wholeheartedly believe in Aaron and Veronica and their awaken your spirit and their healing, energy healing. It's worked for me. That's the thing. I've been there. I dealt with stuff that I didn't even really know that was there, but it was there, and it affects us. And so when you can have someone to talk to like them, and you can have someone to talk to like Dr. Jenny that can get your the insides balanced, and then get the mind balanced. Boy, I tell you what, it is just the best thing that we can do for ourselves. And things are so crazy right now. That's what the LWN is trying to do. We're working on building this huge resource of people based on what your situation is, to be able to help you with whatever might be your situation, whether it's mental health issues, or whether it's your diet. This is where Dr. Jenny can help out. If it's stress, this is where Aaron and Veronica can help out, as well as Dr. Jenny. And that's kind of one of the next things I wanted to talk about. And that's why I brought them all together here, is so we can help you help yourself. And that's the important factor. You have to help yourself. We can talk about this stuff, but by gosh, it's going to take action on your part to do something about it. And there's no reason to wait, because if you've watched my videos, you've heard me say, yesterday is the history. It's the past. I like reminiscing just as much as anybody else I do. But the thing is it's where are my thoughts dwelling? Okay, if they're dwelling on the sorrowful, dark moments of my life and not really using that as a platform to learn and grow from, I'm just feeling sorry for myself. That's not going to help me. I got to do something about this. I know that tomorrow it's not guaranteed. So what does that leave us? The present. They call it the present because it's a gift. That's the way I see it. So you got to take action now. Okay. So let's open up that present and take action and reach out. It takes reaching out. You know, if you need help, you want advice, reach out to us. We've got the emails up there. You can contact Aaron and Veronica. The number's running across the screen right now. You can contact. We've got Dr. Jenny. We'll make sure to run that across the screen in a moment too. You can reach out to these healthcare professionals and get good quality health and not end up having to take a bunch of chemicals to achieve this, right? And that might be hurting you and actually holding you back. So again, I want to say thank you to all the viewers. We really appreciate you. You know, this is Live with Nature. And I'll tell you what, we're talking about the nature of our mind. And remember to share this video out. I want to go to the best practices that we can use, that we can tell our viewers tonight about how to overcome some emotional distress that we might be dealing with. Let's go ahead and start with Aaron and Veronica, and then I'll have Dr. Jenny share. And I don't think you shared your superpower yet, though, Dr. Jenny, so you'll be ready for that one, okay?
Me too.
All right, so how do we help people to overcome maybe some of these serious emotions that we might be feeling right now?
Well, if we're in the moment and just experiencing like overwhelm and anxiety, what we tell people to do first is just breathe. Like take a few seconds, a couple minutes to just really take that deep breath and then release. So as you're breathing in, take in that good energy. And then as you're breathing out, just visualize those negative emotions leaving your body. Because a lot of times when we're under stress, we forget to breathe and we're tense and our stomach tends to go up, creating a hiatal hernia. And we feel like all this emotion, everything's just stagnant. So when we take that breath, we relax and just visualize everything leaving as you exhale.
Yeah. And one of the most important things too is, think about what kind of a society that we grow up in. And one thing we find is we're not taught how to work with our emotions. And in fact, dealing with our emotions sometimes can be a very negative thing for a lot of people. And maybe what was the belief system growing up, and you start to cry because something was upsetting you. And did you grow up in an environment where you were told, don't cry, or I'll give you something to cry about, or you got punished for crying? And maybe somewhere down the line, we gain this belief system that it's not good for us to show emotions. Does that make me look weak? What are others going to think about me? And so what we encourage people is that it's okay. It's natural for us to express and release our emotions. Now that we got to just make a point that we don't want to express it onto other people, but we want to be able to learn how to express it. If you feel like crying, allow yourself to cry. If you're feeling upset about something, allow that tension to go, but you use that breathing like Veronica mentioned and let it go. Most people tend to just bottle up and ignore it and distract themselves in other ways. And one of those ways, a few of them could be they bottle up with medications, they bottle up with drugs and alcohol, because a lot of people are dealing with so much pain on the inside in their mind that when it comes up, we need something to distract us. And so take that moment just to acknowledge, I'm upset right now. I feel very sad. And allow yourself to just allow that emotion to come out. You feel like tears coming up, let them go and breathe to that, because the storm can't last very long. It's going to go away. It might take you a couple minutes. Breathing will speed up the process. It might take an hour. It might give you a couple of days, but you have to get that energy out depending on how strong it is. And the moment you release that, you take that weight off your shoulders. And that's one of the main things that people will mention when they go through a releasing process with us is they feel, I feel like weight's been lifted off. But we've seen people, they get hot. They're sweating because of so much energy that they've released. And then they go back, and as Dr. Jenny was mentioning earlier, they say, I dreamed again last night. I never have dreams. Because again, things we hold on to. And so be okay with that. It's okay to show emotions. That's our guidance system. That is our direct connection to our source. That higher power within all of us is our emotions. And we have to learn how to use it properly. And that's what we teach people.
And another thing, when people are really feeling down and depressed, is go and help somebody. like go volunteer at a shelter, go help at the soup kitchen, whatever it is. And just looking at the people coming in and the excitement and the joy that it brings for you to just hand them a cup of soup or hand them some clothes or whatever it may be, that will really uplift your spirit to help you feel better. And that will really bring more joy to them, but also yourself.
Mm-hmm. And struggle is so essential. Like you guys are mentioning, people not being allowed to make mistakes. We are human and we need to make mistakes. I mean, this is the whole study of neurology. It is even clinical data has shown, all the neuroscientists have found that mistakes are helpful for brain growth and cognitivity. And if you're not struggling, you're not learning. So not only is struggling good for our brains, but people who know about the value of struggle improve their learning potential. So struggling actually makes people smarter. So having this like block where people, this whole mentality of you can't cry, you can't do this, you can't show weakness. It's like, no, it's the opposite. Like you were saying, Veronica, you have to have, that weakness in order. I mean, even a palm tree, that's a prime example. One time I put a palm tree, you see how palm trees sometimes are bent and you have these hurricanes, right? And they did studies about this with trees. They tried to make these synthetic domes because they're trying to terraform planets, right? With all of the space exploration. And within these synthetic domes, they discovered that, we need these tornadoes, we need these weather patterns, we need hurricanes, we need storms, we need rain, because it roots those trees. So we're the same way. Humans are walking plants. We require sunlight, we require fertilization, we require that nourishment, right? And if we didn't have those hurricanes in our life, you're not well rooted, you're not well grounded. So it's better to struggle because it's good for you. So go out there and, don't intentionally try to make mistakes, but don't kick yourself in the head if you made, a mistake. If you, and I'm so spiritual in the sense of, I'm a Christian and I read other, texts too, Buddhist texts and the Dalai Lama. There's just such a beautiful, insight, these peaceful souls that come out and inspire people. I mean, even, Jesus was like, why are you judging this person because they're sinning differently than you? I mean, making people feel that's negative neurofeedback. So as humanity, as people, we need to encourage one another and sharpen one another and lift each other up. It's like, yeah, that person cheated, but what did you do over here? Do you want to start casting stones and figuring out like what? Why are you judging them? Just because you're not a cheater, but you might be a murderer. You might be this, blah, 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 blah. We are all broken in some sense, right? We are all playing this game of life to elevate to the spiritual realm, to be purified, to be whole, to understand what it is to be human, but then what it is to be spirit as well. So we have to teach people, speaking of the spiritual gift, I think that's my spiritual gift. I can help wake people up where, they seem dead and they seem like lost souls. I can inspire them to get up and dust themselves off and start again and be motivated and be intentional, be able to concentrate once again and have that sense of, there is a light. God loves me. I'm going to go and serve somebody else instead of sitting on my own pity pot and taking a bunch of drugs that's going to just act as a Band-Aid for a boo-boo. I'm going to go up, pick up my mat, and start walking. And see where life takes me. And if the hurricane comes, my roots are going to be even that much more powerful. And maybe by God's mercy and grace, I'm going to be in front of some soul that went through what I went through, and I'm able to lift that person up because of my struggles, right? I was raped at the age of 4 or 5 years old by, a family member. That's a horrifying thing. But I would never, I've never even talked about it before. This is one thing that, I'm like shocked that I'm even saying it. But I use that as an opportunity to go and talk to other women that were in crisis, that go to prostitution, that go to work at strip clubs, to go because they have all of these issues neurologically, and what with me, they feel so dirty, they feel this, that, and the other. I'm like, no, why? It's like, you're a beautiful soul. Let's think of why that hurricane came in your life. So you have to rise above it, right? We're all broken. that person was broken, or someone, and I was a rape baby myself too, to be able to talk to women that are contemplating abortion and just say, hey, look at how strong my mother was. And she didn't abort me. And here I am. And I wouldn't be here if that struggle, she would go through that hurricane. I wouldn't be here.
You're such a blessing, though. I tell you, you're such a blessing. And you are here. We're all here. All of us. Even the viewers. You're all here, and because you're alive. Obviously, you wouldn't be watching, right? We're here for a reason. I tell you what, we're here for a reason. You are so awesome, Dr. Jenny. I mean, I'm just so glad that we connected, and I'm so glad that. And this is with Aaron and Veronica. What happens here is that when you get your mindset set to the good stuff, the positivity, what's going to happen is that you're going to start deciding that you might need to change some of your friends. And you want to start surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be like and that you can learn from and that are positive. Yes, there's tons of negative going on out there today, but you can either dwell upon the negative and promise you'll get negative results, or you can dwell in the positive, and then you get surrounded with people like so many of the viewers that I've seen commenting tonight and us, and we get to sit here and we all have superpowers. So I'll come back to that. It is a hard question for me to answer. I mean, my superpower personally, I mean, I want to say the right thing, but the right thing to me is my superpower is God. Okay. He is my superpower, but through God, what has happened is I chose a word, and that word is called empowerment. Okay. So I believe that my superpower is empowerment, and my task is to serve. And so through serving and serving up empowerment, I'm helping other people. And that's what I focus in on. That's why I do these videos, I'm going to go back to guess what? Take action. If you're hurting, reach out to somebody. If you want help and you want to get healthy, we have people that can help you. Dr. Jenny can get your body balanced and help you in so many ways. And obviously, Aaron and Veronica can help you from that mental aspect and be able to help you deal with, like they did for me, things we didn't even realize that we had going on inside of us because it was so suppressed, But by dealing with it, what happened was I have a better relationships now, and I look at relationships much differently than I did before I actually had that session with Aaron and Veronica. So I'm telling you, that's all I want to do, okay, folks, is I want to bring people like who we have this evening to you so that you can learn and you can then take action and improve your life, because we want you to become the best you can possibly be. That's what it's about. Life isn't worth being unhappy. I tell you, I did it long enough. I don't like it. It's no fun. It's just no fun. So, okay, we're down to about 7 minutes approximately. I want to make sure that we get all kinds of information in the last 7 minutes that we possibly can. All right. So what would be the best advice, Aaron and Veronica, that you could give to our viewers with respect to healing themselves through energy and spirituality and your services? What would you recommend to our viewers?
Well, first they have to be willing to...
Struggling. They're struggling.
Struggling?
Yeah, so many people are struggling. I had to, I guess, be a little bit more precise.
Yeah, they have to be willing to want the help, because sometimes like you might see someone that's struggling and you can try to help them or tell them certain things, but if they're not willing to get the help, then you're going to get resistance. So that first thing is make a decision that you want to get help, you want to receive help from someone.
I think, and I speak from my own personal experience, and I want to relay that to everybody that's watching, is we are the creators of our own experience. Whatever's going on in our life, where we might feel like it's going on outside of us, or someone's doing something and it's causing issues, or I have a health issue that's going on, everything starts as a thought process. If we believe in law of attraction, what I think, what I feel is what gives power to that thought. And we start to see more of those experiences in our life and things we hold on to that creates physical disturbances. So if I understand, and I came to this realization for myself a while back, was if I take responsibility for myself, that I was the one that created this situation. I made the decisions to be here. Everything that's going on in your life today is a sum total of the thoughts, the feelings, and the action steps that you've taken and the habits, those little things that have led up to getting the results that you're getting today. And that can be both good and also things that you might want to change. But if I realize, and I create this belief system now that if I created this situation, I can uncreate it. If you're in a place of struggle right now, you don't know what's going on, you may be blaming the world or what's happening and all these things, the circumstances are happening. The biggest thing we can do is take power back and take responsibility for our own life. And if we want things to be different, we have the power to change that. Well, that is our free choice and our free will. You may not know how to do that in this moment, but just know that you can. That is the biggest key. Knowing that you can change your life, that you can be healed, that you can have a better circumstance, that you can have a better relationship, then that's the first step. And once you realize that and you ask for that, the universe will bring you all the resources you need. You don't have to figure it all out. And I've done this through experience and trying to push it, trying to figure out how I'm going to happen. And that just creates more worry and frustration. Is I just let it go, realize that I can change that. One thing that I can do today. What's one thing that I can do today that's going to put me in the direction of where I want to go? That just may be picking up a phone call and asking for guidance. That could just be letting out some emotion. That could just be journaling what you want to change in your life, but be very clear what it is that you want to change and go for it because you are the creator.
And a key thing also is having that awareness of how we think. Like, what do we think on a daily basis? How are we thinking about others? And, it's really paying attention to that. Is it positive? Is it negative? And we talk about that, we talked about that earlier. But the awareness of how we're thinking will let you know, like, oh, like I have been thinking negative. So it's switching that and, think more positive, surround yourself with positive people, the things you listen to, either on the radio or what you watch on TV, is switch that to something more positive and then see how you feel by doing that.
Because that's all choice.
Mm-hmm.
It is all choice, and it's all about thought. That is exceptional advice. Thank you so very much. I'm going to go ahead. I just want to tell everybody, I'm going to let Dr. Jenny close us out here. And I just want to tell you, come back. We're going to be here, and we are on Wednesdays. It's Health and Wellness Wednesday. That's what I call it here at Live with Nature. Health and Wellness Wednesdays. This is the Ask Dr. Jenny show, and it's an interactive show, and we appreciate your comments. We appreciate everybody that came to join us this evening. Make sure to share this out if you're on Facebook or whatever. Remember to come back, download that E360 TV app for your Roku, your Fire, or your Apple or Android TV. Watch us on Real TV and come back every evening on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. We'll be here. Dr. Jenny, close us out here with your best advice. To mindset.
I always like ending it with scripture.
And I love it. We love it.
And I think I've said this Bible verse already, Joshua 1:9. Why not commanded you to be strong and to be courageous? Do not be frightened. Do not be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Whew! That Bible verse gives me chills. Because it's a literal word. There is positive neurofeedback from our maker right there, from the Almighty saying, do not fear. Stop it, because it's synthetic. Just like Monsanto makes synthetic things, right? And we're eating. Like, what are we feeding our body? What are we feeding our mind? Be conscious, and then with that consciousness, show compassion for others. Be better, be happier. Force it, fake it till you make it. I think one of my friends, he's a pastor up in Tampa. He's in Tallahassee right now. His name is Jay, but he's always like, fake it till you make it. And I'm like, that's so true, because even when you're faking a smile and you're faking to feel better, you're still releasing that oxytocin, you're still releasing that 5-HIA, and your body is going to have less inflammation. So with that consciousness of saying, I am not going to fear today. I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to be contagious. How am I going to be contagious? I'm going to be contagious by helping somebody, by serving somebody, right? And I'm going to make an effort to improve somebody else's life, not sit and wonder how I'm going to, just sit here and improve my life. I'm going to go out because the law of attraction, Aaron was talking about that, right? You're going to get what you put out. So if you're putting out all this negativity, that's what's going to come to you, a bunch of crap. What about a lot of crap? A bunch of crap's going to come back in. So go out, be a disciple for others. Be someone that stimulates somebody else's brain by pleasuring those neural pathways and making that person feel good. It doesn't take much to open up a door for a lady, for a pregnant woman, to compliment a little child, to compliment a man on their earrings, on a feature, on their clothing. Be intentional. What are your intentions? And I mean, and it's so much fun. I mean, me, I love complimenting people. Miss Veronica, you are so beautiful. You look like Lola, darling,
Okay, we're just out of time here. We want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Thank you so very much. Have a great evening. Yes, namaste. God bless you. Come back next Wednesday. We'll see you then. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.